Good morning. It's 6 a.m. I am incredibly sick. Still recovering from double sickness, which basically means I got sick. I got 2 days better, and then I got sick again with something else. And you can totally hear it in my voice, so I'm so sorry if it bothers you. I'm trying to get better as quick as I can. Trust me, I don't want to sound like this either. I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be all snotted up. If you can breathe through your nose right now, take a big deep breath for me, okay? Anyway, it is December 24th. It is Christmas Eve, and it's 6 a.m. It's literally 6 in the morning. It's still dark out because winter. And yeah, basically what I did last night was I finished one of my subregions of Northreach maps. So I've been slowly working my way through the subregions of each territory, and by each territory, I've only done one territory so far of UN, and it's Northreach. But I've done about 5 maps or so, I think, at this point, and the glow up already is insane. I have so many more maps to make, and I can't wait to see where I end up. Like, my first map versus my most recent map is already pretty big of a difference, and so my first map and like the last map I make is gonna be, oh my god, I'm like so excited. I've been really enjoying cartography lately. If you follow me on Tumblr, you've probably seen I've posted a lot of maps recently. Here's a couple of them. Bing, bam, boom, bah. The other things that I did last night was I worked on my community talisman idea PDF. Basically, I'm working on this idea PDF, as I call it, where I'm making a project structure for you to make a project from. If that makes sense, it's basically gonna be like some writing, targeted brainstorms, a project structure, and an example project that I make from that idea. And the first idea PDF that I'm doing is called Community Talisman. It's basically a talisman that you make to help you achieve or further some sort of social or community goal of yours. So, for example, if you wanted to go to the library more, you would make a little talisman for like remembering to go to the library. And that would be the project that you would make based on whatever you come up with during the brainstorms of the idea PDF that I'm writing. It's a bit complicated. I'll talk more about it once I have a better idea of like what it actually is. I've been working on it for a while, and I've finally gotten to the point of actually making an example myself, going through the brainstorming questions that I've come up with at this point, and doing it myself for the first time. And it's been really eye-opening because I've not thought of a lot of things already. I have a lot of notes for a future revision. What else did I do? I'm working on my World Anvil. That's what I call it. It's my little nickname, so I don't have to write out World Anvil every time in my journal. I just write Wanvil. And it's honestly, it's really fun to say, so it totally works. But I just banged out my emergent species page, and it's public now, which is good. Basically, I'm working on making an actual functioning wiki, and so I have to have a couple basic pages published and public. Like species, like pantheon, like locations, things like that. So we're working on that. I did my emergent species for the and pages for the hill folk and constructs, and I also did a drawing for the constructs that I think is really cute. Here it is. He's a little gardener made out of sticks, a pair of gloves, and some plant matter. And I just think he's so cute. I think something I'm going to try to do today is finish up so I did the map for Terria, which is a sub-region of Northreach, as I mentioned earlier. And I basically do my preliminary world building on Milanote and then write up the official world building lore on World Anvil. So I'm working on my Milanote board for Terria right now, that sub-region. And so I'm thinking we're going to work on it together today because it's super fun to do this. I've already done the mood board. I hope that's okay. We'll do mood boards for other smaller locations within Terria, but the main Terria sub-region mood board is done. And I'm actually really proud of it. I think it's really cool. And it goes well with the map, which I think is awesome. But what else? What else are my plans for the day? Well, I don't know, just like do whatever because I'm still sick. It's kind of hard to like have any goals. The brain fog is real. I'm gonna go do some tarot reading real quick and then probably do the mood board with you. Probably? I don't know. We'll see. If I don't do it, you won't see it. Oh, and if we haven't met before, hi, my name is Reuven Evelyn. I'm the maker mystic behind earthworms.com. Regardless, if you like this video, feel free to give it a like and a subscribe, and follow me online on Tumblr and Instagram, Threads, Substack, all of the places linked in the description, and leave a comment on what you're working on right now. What's your the most forefront project in your mind right now? Tell me about it. I want to know. And that being said, I hope you enjoy the video, and I love you. Bye! It's raining. Maybe instead of Terria on Milanote, we're gonna do my Substack post right now, because I think that's what's gonna be more exciting for me at the moment. So what's you might ask? It's the first month in the UN cyclical calendar. So it takes place roughly, and I just figured out these dates. I'm so happy I finally have like an actual section of the year. But takes place from January 1st to roughly like February 10th. And the basic gist of the project here is I want to make a Substack post all about this month. So some things that I thought of that I could include are like character designs, but also like the story of the month, like what actually happens during this month mythologically and folklorically. I want to like name a couple like activities that you can do. I want to like link my Wanville articles and do maybe some illustrations, maybe some celestial correspondences for the month of recommended tasks for the months ahead, like a farmer's almanac version of my world building's first month, basically. So from there, I kind of gathered a Milanote board that I'm going to show you right now. So I really like this Milanote board, but you can see here I've gathered my associations for the January, early February season. Originally, this is just supposed to be one holiday, and then it spiraled rapidly out of control. But I basically numbered all of the associations, and then by RNG randomly rolled 3 numbers in that list, and then combined those together to see what correspondences they can come up with. That basically helped me come up with these rituals that they have rituals for in UN. Rituals like I want to have like memorializing gifted handmade items after they've worn through, mending rituals, making new textiles for the coming cycles, and saying goodbye to a cherished item that is lost, broken, or being donated. And so you see there's this little note here, after the socializing of Ra, feels very much like a personal month to me, solitary, but not lonely either, content with their own company. And Ra is basically the month of December and a little bit of November too, so it's the holiday season. Holidays feel very social to me, and Ra felt very like a very social season. And then after the holidays, after the month of Ra in it feels like this is a very insular time, a time of solitude and introspection. And it's just very yummy to me because it feels very like good. Oh yeah, also winter is known as the season of seed, because that is what the plants are doing at that time. Then we have the story of the month, which is what I was kind of talking about how what happens when and what the folklore and the story is. So a bit of backstory on like working on world building for me is I had been doing Ra work for most of November and December, like world building that month. And in that month, I kind of determined that there was this sort of there's some sort of trickster entity named ALLLLL, who is a thief and breaks into the Palace of Bloom, which is the season of summer is bloom. Every day, ALLLLL steals a little bit of daylight from the Palace of Abundance and takes it away, carries it away, and buries it underneath the ground of the Jackdaw Wilds, which is a big forest in Northreach. And he does this every day. He steals a little bit more daylight and buries it every single day until the very last day of Ra, which is known as the holiday of Spoil Seed. Spoil Seed is basically New Year's, where the final bit of winter kind of reaches its peak. On Spoil Seed, ALLLLL is caught by the Palace of Abundance and the Kingdom of Bloom, and forced to start returning all the light he stole. So that process starts in of the returning of the light, as ALLLLL digs up every single hole day by day that he dug. The other thing I kind of determined was that the entity, the minor divinity, which is basically a minor god, that is the emblem, the face of the season of seed, which is again winter. Its name is Isis. It uses its pronouns because it doesn't consider itself a full season, more of like the reflection of a season. It is always hungry. It is the all-consuming hunger of winter, the all-consuming, ever-hungry deity of winter, Isis. So Isis in actually in Ra, the month before in December, falls asleep and basically splits into two different paths. So Isis, the winter manifestation, falls asleep in the forest and is gradually covered in debris and lichen and moss and fungi, and gradually rots away and becomes its seed form, which is basically just like a giant seed. It's like a big rock. Isis rots away and becomes a physical seed. It's probably a large seed, like just to be metaphorical, but this seed is one of Isis's secondary forms. It's its seed form, and the seed form is what eventually becomes the spring minor divinity, which is the season of sprout. Her name is Aurora, and she is in the center of that seed. So as the seed kind of, wakes up and gets ready to sprout, Aurora is actually emerging slowly from the center and warming up and coming to life. But how does this seed wake up, right? Like, it's just kind of there, buried under the detritus, and nothing's going to happen to it if nothing happens to it. So something has to happen to it. And one of my favorite stories growing up was of Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox. Not for any reason for Paul Bunyan or American colonialism, but specifically because the ox is blue. I really love mythical oxen. I think they are so sick. So I really wanted to have some sort of mythical oxen plowing the fields of Ewan with a mythical farmer. And how that farmer will be like plowing along and then like hits the rock of the seed form and is like, what's this? I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to, carry it to a hole in the ground, and I'm going to bury it in the freshly tilled soil. And that is actually what starts the process of Aurora waking up from the center. So the plow is stopped by hitting the seed. The farmer picks up the seed, brings the seed to a hole dug by his Zolt, actually, one of the many holes that he leaves behind. The mythical farmer buries the seed, covers it in the rich, freshly turned soil, and the soil slowly absorbs the seed until it reaches the very center, and this is where and when Sprout begins to awaken, though not fully conscious yet. It's still coming around to life again, and it will take her a bit to warm up and finally emerge in the next month of Sret, which is the month of Sprout. But I hear you asking, what is Isis's secondary form? And that is when Isis falls asleep, it begins to dream. And that is its secondary form of Dulir, the Dreamser. And Dulir is a dream entity who is literally dreaming the new cycle into existence. So Isis falls asleep, starts dreaming of the new year, and then the new year comes. It's the new year. The first 9 days of the new year are then indicative of the rest of the cycle. So each day will be each month of the coming cycle. There's some divinatory rituals about it, and I'm really excited to world build that. So maybe that's what I'll do next, is like work on the actual like divination practices of Dulir. But that's beside the point. There's one more thing I have to go over, and that is Childros the Frigid and Zenlin, Lady of the Snow. And these are the entities that represent the cold, the killing cold, and the gentle snow cold. So Childros the Frigid is all about like he's pneumonia, he's frostbite, he's hypothermia, all of the cold, the biting wind, the shivering, the freezing, the turning purple. He's that. And Zenlin, Lady of the Snow, is like a freshly snowed landscape scene. The type of snow you catch on your tongue, the kind that like cradles hibernating animals just so gently in warmth beneath the layers of snow. And so Childros and Zenlin are engaged in a dance, and they are dancing throughout the winter season and also most of the fruit season, which is autumn. And they're dancing. It's based on their mood. The rhythm changes based on their mood, and only they can hear this music, which is interesting because if anyone else were to hear it, they would just simply go crazy, because this is the music of cold, of freezing, and of silence. You know, when it snows and it gets really quiet, that's what they're listening to. So they're dancing, and they dance throughout Ira, and they dance throughout Ira, and they dance throughout Alm. But in Alm, in January and February, the weather's a bit more tumultuous, at least here in my area. So I kind of feel like they would be fighting during this time of year. So like, what are they fighting about? What do the cold and the snow fight about? And Alex actually had this great idea when we were talking about it, where as the season of seed progresses, Childress gets stronger and stronger, and more animals and creatures succumb to his cold touch and pass away. And Zenlin, being a very gentle soul, mourns for the lives in wintertime that are lost, and thus begins to feel the effects of Childress's cold touch, draining her health slowly until their dance slows to a crawl. During this time of the year in Ulm, there is a minor holiday festival, a thing that I thought of around Zenlin as the mourner, celebrating the death of winter, but also honoring those that didn't make it this year, which is something really big for me as I lost my grandpa this year. But the great thing about this cyclical tale is that when Childress sees the frostbite in Zenlin's hands and limbs, he snaps out of it and they embrace, and that embrace actually creates the next month's minor divinity, a minor sun god, that I haven't developed yet. But that's basically the story of Childress the Frigid and Zenlin the Lady of Snow, both of which I will have to make designs for. You've probably already seen them because I've edited this video. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I think I'm gonna go figure out the ritual divinations for Doodlier, the Dreamser, and maybe think about the holiday where Zenlin is the mourner. And I'll catch up to you later, but thanks for listening to my little info dump. Anyway, I think that's it for now. Peace.